Hi, I'm Darren Moore from the University of Exeter. I led the evidence review that informed the Education Endowment Foundation's A School's Guide to Implementation guidance report. In this video, I'm going to talk about implementation climate in schools. We will cover what it is, what it's not, and why it's important. Implementation climate refers to the feelings or belief that those in the school community hold towards a new change. Researchers have argued that implementation climate includes capacity for change, views about implementing a new intervention, and how important the new approach is for the school. So it can refer to how people think and feel about implementation generally. For instance, are new approaches welcomed, or is there intervention fatigue after many new initiatives have been seen? It can sometimes refer to the new approach in question, for instance, how teachers feel about the prospect of implementing a new approach in their setting. It is different to school climate in some key ways. Implementation climate has a clear focus on the process and practice of implementation and attitudes towards a particular new idea or approach, rather than referring to the physical, social, and affective environment of the school. Evidence we reviewed suggests a school's implementation climate is influenced by both previous experiences and beliefs about future implementation. Any experience of implementation provides an opportunity to improve implementation climate through experience, but could also harm it going forwards, if, for instance, systems and structures have not been supporting implementation, or staff delivering the new approach were not engaged throughout. Equally, if the wrong approach was selected or there was no long-term plan to sustain its implementation, this might impact people's feelings about the next new approach, even if it is quite different. So, implementation climate helps us think about which norms influence the nature of implementation and associated behaviours of all members of the school community involved in an approach. Implementation climate can be improved by exploring feelings and beliefs, understandings, experiences, and using these insights to inform decision-making. Without considering the potential impact of implementation climate, there is a risk of low buy-in and commitment to an approach based on expectations about implementation, rather than just because of the approach or the area of need. However, while we cannot change prior experiences of implementation, there is a clear message that when schools implement effectively by attending to the behaviours and contextual factors indicated in the EEF guidance report, then implementation climate is likely to improve. This improvement is based on positive experience of implementation, which then improves the implementation climate for successfully putting new approaches into practice in the future. The focus on change and improvement is a key difference between implementation climate and broader school climate. When we think about implementation climate, we are not referring to the ways that the whole school functions, the feeling of the community, behaviour and its expectations, the quality of community partnerships, and the orientation to learning in general. Instead, implementation climate is focused on the feeling and functioning related to putting into practice evidence-informed approaches. There is clear overlap though, as we are talking about how broad implementation behaviours like collaboration, engagement, trust, and high expectations apply to implementing new approaches, rather than teaching, learning, and the educational values of the whole school. When we want to get a flavour of a school's implementation climate, we need to understand how staff feel about implementing new approaches. First, when exploring needs and potential approaches, we should really lean into assessing needs, readiness and barriers, and building consensus more holistically. Indeed, in the EEF guidance report, Explore as a phase is as much about assessing needs and understanding a setting, so implementation strategies can support successful implementation. Second, we can assess how well context and barriers are attended to in order to shape ongoing implementation. Questions we can ask include the following. Are systems and structures in place that ease the time, pressure of doing implementation well? Are key individuals supporting implementation throughout, and are they empowered to make changes? Has a new approach been organised in a way that means it's feasible for the school setting? Is the school community interested in the approach, and have they had a chance to feedback their thoughts? Does the community share understanding about what is being implemented and how? Is there genuine reflection on the different feedback and outcome data collected to improve implementation? Overall, effective implementation gives a window into a school's implementation climate. Arguably, more importantly, we can see where implementation climate can be improved by noticing where it is harder to put in place the recommendations from research. To find out more about what implementation climate looks like and tools to measure implementation climate in your setting, please see our website. You can also get in touch with us there. Thanks for watching. Now you know what implementation climate is and how it differs to school climate, you might also enjoy our series of case studies on implementation climate and our tool for assessing implementation climate, all found on our website.